Past few days has not been easy, bro. I've been waking up and don't want to wake up. I don't want to face the reality of losing. It's good. I lost. Like I said to you, it's a blessing. But like in the past few days, it has been tough. I'll be honest with you.
But Themba, how do you get to this point about a loss in the octagon when you've lost parents, you've lost family members, you were mining diamonds and being chased by dogs, you had bullets flying by you? Why would a loss to Vicente Luque put you in the mindset of, I don't want to leave the house now?
One of my cousins, I can't speak his name, but like he messaged me that the day after I lost this last fight, some of my cousins were celebrating my loss. They were all celebrating my loss. And he sent me a video of them in a place where we were 15 years ago.
Themba Gorimbo is a UFC fighter originally from Zimbabwe, fleeing to South Africa at the age of 17 to pursue a better life. Somehow he found his way and got into mixed martial arts. He eventually came to Miami in the United States and started training in MMA. He really didn't have much. He pretty much came to the United States with only clothes and had no money to his name.
I didn't have money because I had a gym back in South Africa where I had these boys that I was looking after in my gym. They were staying in my gym. I think it was like 7 boys or so. They were staying in my gym, sleeping in the gym as well, and incurred a lot of debt leading up to my UFC debut, and I was paying for these guys' accommodation.
Gorimbo managed to be signed by the UFC. He actually had a serious case of the flu, but he pushed through that fight and went through it. He used all his money to purchase the medicine he needed to get better. So he essentially only had $7 going into his fight in the UFC.
I had $87.49. What happened is I woke up at 3 a.m. on the day of the fight, sick with flu. My nose was blocked. Everything was like, damn, what now? Must I pull out of the fight? I can't. If I pull out of the fight, I'm going back home with the same situation that I came here with. Secondly, if I pull out of this fight, I'm coming off a loss, and the UFC has already invested to fly me here, to be here, and I said I'll fight. And you never know, you might be cut. You have to still go in and fight no matter what. And I ordered this medicine online and out of panic, and it was 3 a.m. I pressed, I don't know how many times, and the medicine went all the way to $80, and I was left with $7.49. When the medicine came, it was like a big pocket.
Sometimes, it's not the best decision for fighters to fight with an injury or with a sickness. It doesn't really pan out well for their career or their health in the long term. But in Gorimbo's case, that gamble definitely paid off, because he ended up having a good win, and on top his show and win money, he actually got a bonus that night. Now, Gorimbo did lose his first fight by submission, which made him more determined to fight through the sickness, because he knew he had to win the second fight. If not, he might have gotten cut. Who knows? Gorimbo really got my attention when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson surprised him at the gym randomly. I guess he heard about his story and was inspired, and he actually surprised him in person and eventually bought him an actual house.
Look at those pictures over there, isn't that cool?
So like Sadio Mane. It's my family. Oh my God.
So hey, I wanted to bring you here. So Themba, I don't know anybody who lives here. I wanted to come here. I wanted to bring you here. I wanted to look you in the eye, and I wanted to tell you, welcome home.
Oh my God, thank you.
Having an inspiring story, being on a tier, and honestly, being pushed by the UFC, which was a very good thing. Now, Gorimbo's fight style is actually well-rounded. He is a decent striker and is actually very good on the ground. So he's well-rounded and really didn't show any deficiency in his fight style. And after a fight between Vicente Luque versus Nick Diaz fell out due to Nick Diaz pulling out for messed up reason, which is a whole other topic, Gorimbo stepped in to take the fight. It wasn't really last minute, as Nick Diaz did pull out several weeks earlier to the fight, but Gorimbo didn't really have a full training camp before taking that fight. And this was Gorimbo's first actual pay-per-view event at UFC 310. And of course, with the way he's been looking, dominant in all his wins, he entered that fight being the favorite. Vicente Luque, on the other hand, was a big underdog because he had been on a decline after getting knocked out by Geoff Neal and actually having a brain aneurysm, and then getting knocked out by Joaquin Buckley. There was a whole narrative, and a fair one, to say, okay, maybe Vicente Luque is washed. So Themba Gorimbo was definitely favored to win this fight. But unfortunately, it actually ended up being his worst loss and most embarrassing moment. Vicente landed a clean shot in round 1 and choked him out by a submission.
Waking up, bro, like if you look at my phone, like my profile picture, my wallpaper, this is my wallpaper, right? This is Luque, that's me. Like, it's sad, but it is that, you see, that's my wallpaper. I literally had to put this, you see, like I put this on my phone. Why? Because never again. In my head, I don't want to ever be like this again. I hated waking up and having to have the referee tell me the fight is over and not knowing where I was. And then to realize that I was in T-Mobile and I had just lost my fight.
And what happens most times, at least I would like to think, in most situations when you're in your lowest moments, when you feel like it's your downfall and it's your most embarrassing moments, most people rely on close friends and family and loved ones to, you know, comfort you, make you feel better, and prop you up and encourage you to get back to it. Unfortunately, that's not the case with this guy.
In the past few days, it's not been easy, bro. I've been waking up and don't want to wake up. I don't want to face the reality of losing, you know. It's good. I lost. Like I said to you, it's a blessing. But like in the past few days, it has been tough. I'll be honest with you. I think this is the most I've been out today, like in the past, from the loss to now. I just have not been able to want to wake up and, not that I don't want to say to you, I wish to die, no. I have 2 kids at home, I have 2 girls that need me to do well in life, but it's more of the embarrassment. It's more of the embarrassment that makes me not want to wake up. And I had not fought in front of a big crowd in the UFC. The embarrassment I had that day, and not crying because I lost, I felt embarrassed. I felt naked. I felt like the world crashed on me. And then to go on as well, like after my last fight, leading up to this fight, I had a lot of online family problems and stuff like that. Some of my family members going to my sponsors trying to pitch them, say, hey, don't sponsor this guy like this, like, and then you have those fights and then you want to defend yourself. And
I mean, that's pretty messed up before we even go to the worst part. Like, imagine the hatred you would have for someone that is considered your family, or it's not even considered your family, your actual family, going to your family sponsor to let them know, hey, it's not worth sponsoring this guy because what? You feel entitled to whatever little success that they have. It's honestly quite evil. But unfortunately, a lot of people go through this. They get some type of success or achieve something that the family is not used to, and then the whole family is feeling entitled to that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Like one of my cousins, I can't speak his name, but like he messaged me that the day after I lost this last fight, some of my cousins were celebrating my loss. They were all celebrating my loss. And he sent me a video of them in a place where we were 15 years ago, this small circle in Danun, where it's a slum. Like when you call it, it's like a slum. Where I first arrived when I went in South Africa, I was living in this place called Danun. And these cousins of mine were celebrating my loss. And do you know how much that eats you? Yeah. Because all I try to do is better for everybody.
So it's one thing to have a family member who doesn't mess with you, who doesn't give a fuck how successful you are and they envy you. It's another thing to just not have a family member you get along with and they just don't like you. It's a whole other thing when you know they celebrate your downfall and you know they're happy when you fail. But the worst is seeing footage of them actually being happy and celebrating your loss. But in this video, Gorimbo said several things that made me realize, okay, it seems like he's known his family members, or at least some of them, has been like this for a while, but he's such a nice guy that he kind of gives a lot of excuses for it.
So I was 16 and I went to the diamond fields to dig illegal diamonds, and when I was there, I was lucky, and I was always getting the diamonds. And one night, you know, it was unfortunate that I got too convalescent, and me and my cousin were busy digging, and the bosses of this policeman came, and he had to run away. It was in the middle of the night, and there's like thousands of people digging diamonds, and they ran away, and me and my cousin were left underneath, and there were people, we could hear people getting beaten by the dogs upstairs. Then I was further out, and my cousin was the one to be seen first, you know. And they called him up, and he snitched on me. It's like, no, there's another guy underneath. Then, you know, I mean, it was a situation where it's either he's eaten alone or, you know, both of us same time. And he snitched on me, and, you know, we end up getting beaten by the dogs together and almost died, man. I lost a lot of blood. Yeah.
That's a whole lot of backstabbing. But you were a good student. You understood the risks associated with going in the mines. You got to deal with your snitching cousin, dogs.
He wasn't that. I wouldn't put it that way, because, you know, I mean, may his soul rest in peace now. You know, it's a sad thing that he passed away. Yeah, but like he was not. I don't want to say he was a snitch, but yeah, he snitched on me on that one.
I said it jokingly.
Freddie T, he said, I don't want to say he was a snitch, but yeah, he snitched on me.
On that one, I wouldn't blame him. I think if I was in his position, I would not want to be beaten by the dogs alone. I don't know.
I feel like he's such a good guy and a nice guy. He's actually trying to defend his cousin. Now, one can say they can understand that sentiment, but I would like to argue that there are family members, loved ones, or even real friends who would not snitch in that moment. So that right there, in my opinion, is a prime example of a family or a close one not really on your side. Just because someone is family doesn't mean they're on your side. At the end of the day, your family is who you make your family. If someone is just close to you when you're good, when you're up, when everything is fine, that's good. But the real test comes in, how do they react when things are not looking good on your end? That's when you know who's really on your team. That's the point of the whole video. You know, you got to be careful who you let in your corner. You got to be careful who you let close to you. And just because everyone seems to be happy for you when things are going so well doesn't mean those people will be there when things don't go well. Shout out to the Pivot podcast for this interview, a great interview. I'm gonna leave the full link below in the video. You guys, I recommend you guys check it out. And shout out to Themba Gorimbo. He was in high spirits, you know, throughout the interview, but I just thought I had to talk about this messed up and deep topic because it's something I feel like a lot of people relate to. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys relate to this in any way? Do you have family members who you fell off with due to envy or feeling entitled or anything like that? Or can you just not relate to this and you're blessed with great family? If you guys like the video, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.